Hello, today I want to talk about limbs. It is usually said that the purest lessons or the real wisdom comes on the immediate aftermath of a failure or during the last stages when he is when he is under very deep stress. So, and definitely not after a victory. After a victory, you think most people lack the discrimination power as to say what actually helped and what did not help. Many times, what did not help, people claim as if it helped, but that's not the truth. So today is one such day where I had a failure. Pre-results have come. I know I did very well in the GS1 paper, which is usually a stumbling block, and I flunked in the CSAT. And for me, it is a bigger disaster because this is the second consecutive time I'm failing in the CSAT. The last 2 years I was scoring more than 100, which is a very good score given the nature of pre-paper. And particularly this year, while writing paper itself in the GS1, while I was giving the paper itself, I understood that yes, I am clearing the paper this time. This happened for the first time, but alas, I lost the CSAT. And while writing the CSAT itself, I knew that no, I am failing the CSAT this time. So, what I want to discuss today is this state where one will be able to clearly discriminate and tell in the exam itself, if I can put more confidently. Even before the exam itself, one should be in a state where he would be able to predict whether he will be clearing the exam this time or he will not be clearing. Of course, there's a certain amount of uncertainty with the exam, but if you do in a particular way what all things have to be done, I think one is going to clear the exam if they do it in the right proportion, in the right way. But most times, the issue is that we do not know what is the right thing. Okay. And this is because we follow some topper and think that is the right thing. But in most cases, I've seen many toppers, even my own friends, they clear, but they do not clearly understand what helped. So what they do, they see other toppers lectures and they repeat the same things, and because they'll be thinking that those things actually helped. But in fact, what helps one person may not help the other person because each are at a different stage of preparation. Because many think that they start their preparation after their BTech or during their bachelor's. That's a very completely wrong notion. For most students, preparation begins at school in the sense that you see, even till day, I know many of my friends still struggling with English. And when it comes to English, I have a distinct edge. English or comprehension or the way we analyze, maybe because of my CBSE background or something. So this analytical power is not something I got it now. I had it right from my schooling days. So when someone tells that this book helped me, that book helped me, no. You are able to analyze a book in a particular way because you had a very good background. So the bottom line I would like to tell from this point from this very brief discussion so far is that many do not know what actually helped. They will understand what they helped when they reflect immediately after a failure. I've been reflecting for quite a while, and I thought, let me share, and it'll make a good topic, and I think you'll be having some good lessons from this. So the essence of my takeaway from these many years of I've been here for quite a while from my preparation is that, bro, pre at heart, many say that you should revise basic books many times. Okay, or you should do your CA. You should do your CA means current affairs, or you should do test series. But people have done all these three many times, but still some of them could not clear. This time, I personally know cases of people who cleared four pre and gave four mains and were unable to clear 5 times. I know three friends of whom two have given two interviews. This time they couldn't clear pre. And one person, very good friend, who went to interview last time, unable to clear. One got a rank last time, is unable to clear pre this time. You see, one has cleared one got a rank in itself means that he knows the complete process right, but this time he couldn't make it to pre. So this makes us, and there are some people who are very consistently clearing pre. which means that they know something which others do not know. So many times what happens is they clear the exam without knowing the reasons why they cleared. Okay, so leaving all of that apart, the essence of the entire pre, I think, is this one sentence. At heart, pre is neither a test of knowledge nor a test of a particular skill. At heart, it's a stress test. And you see, this stress keeps on building up. For a fresher, stress is of one nature. For a repeater, it's of one nature. For a third or fourth attempt guy, it is of one nature. For a sixth or seventh attempt guy, this is of another nature. And this keeps on piling up over a period of time because of certain mistakes we repeatedly commit. What are those mistakes, and how does the stress evolve? Let's try to have a brief discussion in this video. Besides that, what are some possible solutions so that we can ace this stress test? The pre-paper is itself is aimed in such a way that you do not get many questions from your basic books or CA, but you should be able to handle the test. So fundamentally, pre-paper is putting you in some uncertain situations, and of course there is the pressure to prove yourself in uncertain position, in some uncertain situations where you get some very vague questions which you haven't even heard of. How are you conducting yourself in those uncertain conditions? Definitely this is one trait which any officer should have. An officer should be able to deal with uncertainty and predictability in a sane and graceful manner. So I think at heart, through the nature, by setting the paper in a particular way, it is testing how we are behaving under certain stressful conditions. And of course, to ace any stressful conditions, to the only mantra is to go back to the basics and have your foundations right. This is the only mantra. And how you can go to the basics and how you can check your foundation, we'll try to see few of those aspects as well in this video. Okay, so my basic premise in this video is that there are three categories of people who give pre. Some keep on preparing directionless. Okay, they do what the market asks them to do, and they may fail or they may succeed. They themselves do not know why they failed and why they succeeded. Most times they'll fail. There are another set of people who keeps on clearing, maybe because of some knack they have with respect to elimination. Okay, I know such people who have that elimination knack. Somehow they'll find one clue, eliminate, and they succeed. My video or my my what you call aim is not my aim is that one should not be in either of these two things. My aim is that one should aspire to be this third kind of guy who knows who has his own strategy, very clear strategy. He executes it and he manages the stress very, very well. So he'll be able to imagine what his position is going to be in the last 10 days, and he'll keep preparing himself so that in the last 10 days he'll be sane and he'll be able to give a very good test. For all of that, he'll be having a certain toolkit, he'll be having a certain strategy. So one should, and they very clearly know before the exam and also during the exam that yes, I am going to clear the exam. I think one should be of this kind. If you clear it, you should ace it with confidence, not by a random fluke or some elimination technique. You should be this guy. So keeping this guy in mind, let's try to go further in the video. So my case was that as I said, I cleared in a way I cleared the tough paper, GS paper last 2 times, but I did not clear it in the way I wanted to clear it. I was undergoing a lot of stress in the last week. I enrolled with a dietitian and a physical trainer to keep my weight in control. You know what? That many of those programs did not work, and what most effectively worked on my body was the last 2 weeks stress. In the last 2 weeks, I think I've cut my weight by 2 to 3 kgs. You'll be undergoing so many streams of stress. So those 2 weeks were very stressful. And during those 2 weeks and after the exam, I reflected on what mistakes I did, so that okay, what were the reasons why I had to undergo so much of a stress. So I'll try to address that as well. So to understand how we build up stress, there are how to understand how this stress evolves, we need to understand the various stages in prelims. So in my opinion, there are basically three phases in prelims: phase 1, phase 2, phase 3. Phase 1 begins from okay, whenever you prepare till 4 months before pre. This from 4 months to okay, 4 months to last month. Sorry, last take 10 days. And the third phase is last 10 days. And in essence, prelims goes in this fashion. So basically, UPSC preparation is a marathon. So where you have to be very clear on when you have to just keep on going by continuing the momentum, and suddenly you should keep on sprinting. So phase 1 is one area where you need to you should keep on going, you should keep the movement, you should be in the marathon mode. And in the last 1 month, okay, in last 4 months, you should increase the speed. And last 10 days or the last 10 days of the preparation, you are a completely different guy. And in this phase, and your state of mind in this phase essentially determines whether you are in the list or out of the list. There are people who are very chaotic in this phase, still clearing, but our aim is not to be one of such guys. If you clear it, you should clear it with confidence. And in your last 10 days, you should be oozing confidence. And many people failed because they did very well, they did reasonably well in the last 4 months, but in the last 10 days, they lost the plot because they did not do certain things, though they were going in the right track for the last 4 months. Okay, so understand that there are three phases, and your aim, the aim of, in my opinion, the aim of the first two phases is that you should be doing well in the last phase. These two phases should enable you to keep calm in the last phase. That is the essence of this preparation. You are said to be successful only when you are very cool, or that you'll be cool only when you do certain things right. What are those things, we'll discuss, but the ultimate aim is that you should be able to keep your cool till the last phase. Try to reach this. This is a very, very superior phase, and you'll enjoy this phase. Many people would be having a doubt on whether, okay, after 4 to 5 attempts, whether they'll have to quit this prelims or not. There is one test whether you should stay in the prep or you should not, or you should leave the prep. If you are able to be confident in the last phase for at least 2 attempts, okay, I think you can very happily leave the exam process. Because if you are able to stay cool in the last phase, it means that you ticked off all the boxes and you are 100% sure that you gave your best. In spite of giving your best, if it doesn't work out, you can leave the process with your head held high. But if you never reach this process, even then you have to leave. If after 3 to 4 attempts, if you are unable to reach this process, definitely you have to leave, because it means that you are not a serious aspirant. But the goal is that one should hold his preparation in such a way that in the last phase he is confident with himself. Okay. Now let's come to the next part. So how do you keep up the momentum? So how do you ensure that in the last phase you do a good job? You see, why do you have that stress in the last phase? The reason why you hold so much of stress in the last phase is this. You have a fear of missing out. Fear of missing out what? Okay. Fundamentally, the reason why, the only thing that destabilizes you is not your basic books, but your CA. Because we do many things, but of late we are in a era where we have two misconceptions. One misconception is that you need not read newspaper. Okay. Second misconception is that one test series is enough and one test series will take you to the exam in any way. These are the two misconceptions. So the issue with the first misconception is that when you do not read newspaper, you should at least read a magazine, and you should read a magazine in the right way. We failed to read newspaper, and we also most I'm speaking about 90% of the population. They also fail to read the magazine, and even when they read the magazine, they do not make notes. So what actually helps you in the last 10 days of your prep is this notes that you generate of your CA magazine. Unless you have a crisp notes, so each magazine, if it has some 120 pages, at most you should be able to bring it down to 10 to 12 pages. So if it is 10 months, it's some 100 to 120 page notes, crisp note. And if you do not have it, take it for granted, you'll undergo through all the stress cycle that may derail even some very good things that you have done. So first, be very, very sincere with your magazines. And to be sincere with magazines, you should keep doing it every month. One more misconception with pre is that people would say it is enough if you start during the last 4 to 6 months. No, 4 to 6 months is for the exclusive pre mode where you keep on doing the bits. That is the MCQ mode. But it doesn't mean you should be skipping your CA. CA should be an every month affair. If you do not do this, and many people think that I'll do CA in the last few months or I'll do some PTs because okay, for various reasons, and this is one the most important reason which takes a toll upon you. And even though you are done with 90% of the entire prep, this 10% will keep on kicking you, and it hits you so badly that you wouldn't be performing well even in the areas you did a good job. Okay. So first thing, to keep up the momentum, do your CA well. It has benefits beyond okay just reading, or beyond pre, beyond mains, beyond interview. It will keep you first in the loop. Second, it will help you. It will give you a lot of confidence throughout your preparation period. If there is one factor that makes you a proper UPSC aspirant, it is how abreast you are with your current affairs. Okay, one. Number two, the test series. And before discussing about test series, let me bust two more myths about CA and test series. You see, based on the experience of okay last 6 to 7 years, okay, and especially the last 2 to 3 years of pre, none of them is actually coming to rescue. That's the truth. Then you may ask, why should we even read when they are not very much asked, and questions are so uncertain? Then why should you go with this method? There are two reasons. One reason is that first, you cannot predict a paper, and many of the people, almost 90, most of the people are doing this. And if they suddenly shift the paper from a static or uncertain paper to a current affairs oriented paper, you are at a clear disadvantage. And this idea that you did not do your CA well will keep on haunting you till the last date. In the end, you may get a paper that has zero current affairs current affairs questions, but still, you see, till 9 a.m. of the exam day, you'll be carrying this fear that you did not do your CA well, and that's going to hit your confidence on the exam day. Take it for granted. So I think the only utility, or the most important utility of doing CA is that it will keep you sane in the last leg of your preparation phase. And even with the test series, so test series have become another joke, because most of the test series now have become a sort of an avenues where the coaching wala would be presenting their knowledge. Their utility in the exam have come very, 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 very less. But still, I advise you to do a test series, even though none of the questions come. Reason being that, you see, Preparation to UPSC is like, okay, you'll be given a checkbox, and if you do not tick off any checkbox, okay, the ones which you did not tick will keep on haunting you, and they keep hitting your confidence. And when you tick these checkboxes, irrespective of their utility, you go to the exam with a confident heart. So do test series, come what may, at least do one and do it in the right way. So what is the right way? The right way is not to do test series for the sake of doing it, but pursue each aspect of the test series. So what is meant by pursuing each aspect of test series? For example, you read about Ramsar. Okay, say you are reading about Ramsar. Okay, if you did it, whether you did it right or wrong, start test series early, number one, and go to the website of Ramsar and check some of the key terms. If you have questions on UNFCCC, go to the website of UNFCCC. You know what? In the UNFCCC, you have a tab, and there are sub tabs. There are, I forgot the exact name of the tab. One is Clean Air Coalition. Next, I think C5 something. And you know what? On each tab, there was a question in each year. So if you really made it the habit of pursuing pre with an interest, like going after each question and checking it. If you start early, you'll be clearly having the time and you can go with confidence. So pursue it. So don't just passively do test series, but actively keep on reading the items given in the test series. It'll serve. So exact questions may not come, but the extensions that you do by your own, you'll be reaping a lot of benefit. Okay. So to keep up the momentum, these two are very, 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 very vital. One, a good test series. One, CA irrespective of their utility. So what is the myth? The confession I make here is that they won't be useful to you to the maximum extent, 80 to 90%. But if you do not do them, you are at a clear disadvantage. So do it for the sake of confidence, whether it comes or not. And this is the most important aspect of the entire preparation. I think this is what makes you an officer. When you want to prepare for an exam, the first thing I think anyone has to do is to understand the exam by oneself. You may watch a topper, fine, or you may consult a friend, you may ask a teacher, fine. All of them apart, you should be having your own understanding of the exam, your own strategy. And you know what? When you have your own strategy, most of the other strategies that you find on YouTube or that you get through some of your teachers, you find them very childish. I found many, okay, as you keep on evolving your own strategy, doing very few things, you'll be able to clear the exam rather than, okay, going through the entire process. Okay, so the point is work on getting your own strategy rather than blindly going by what your friend does or by what the market dictates. So how do you evolve the strategy? To evolve your own strategy, this is what actually helps. Okay, this will keep you in the loop and gives you some sort of confidence. But in reality, this is what helps because this actually reflects in the exam. If you do it rightly, okay, your strategy will definitely come in the reflect in the exam in almost 60 to 70% of questions for sure. So how do you evolve your own strategy? You evolve your own strategy by first checking the previous year questions thoroughly. And one myth here is that many people solve previous year questions and they think, yes, I did. No, solving, if you really want to solve questions, go and solve those test series wala questions. PYQ questions are, PYQ refers to previous year questions. PYQ questions are given for you to examine. It's not just for solving. So learn the art of examining a previous year question. Suppose there's a question on Ramsar this time. So you can examine in these many lines. One, why is this asked this? Why is a question asked on Ramsar this time? So if you do such a kind of examination, you will understand that if a particular issue makes a certain level threshold of noise, there is a very high chance of coming in the exam. So This helps you in sieving the right news from your current affairs magazine, number one. Number two, when you examine the options. So when an examiner is framing a question on Ramsar, in what ways is he trying to trick me? In my opinion, evaluating the options is the biggest help you do for yourself. Because when you learn the art of evaluating an option, you will understand in what ways the examiner is trying to trick you. And if you understand, and there are only finite number of ways in which he can trick you. This I could learn by myself. So if you can understand in what ways he is going to trick you, whatever question he gives, you know what tricks he's playing, so you'll be able to get an answer. So this helps you to do well even in the questions where you have no clue, because even for a completely new question, you know what tricks he's playing, and 70 to 80% of these tricks are predictable if you see or observe the previous year questions thoroughly. Next, and see the links across the topics. And one more observation through previous year question is that, suppose last year he asked about wetlands, this year he asked about Ramsar, next year he asked something within Ramsar. So each year there is a continuum in the kind of questions being asked. So if you examine wetlands well, you will definitely read about Ramsar. If you read Ramsar well, you'll be able to predict question that may come if at all he is going to ask a question on Ramsar. So it gives you the thread. Okay. So, and in this way, by understanding the themes that are being asked, okay, by following the thread, by evaluating the options, by getting the mindset of the examiner, you'll be slowly gaining a knack of solving questions. And this is something which no teacher or no test series can teach you, because most of the test series are only to show off their knowledge, which I hardly think there is any, because they have to prepare the questions from seeing here and there. But rather, if you follow this approach, you'll be gaining a strategy or a method for yourself. And above all, when you have a method for yourself, the best thing that happens to you is that you'll have something to work upon. So suppose something failed, did not work out, or something failed, you will understand what failed and you will try to remedy this. But if you do not have a strategy of your own, okay, one more prelims comes, you'll be doing the same things. You don't know what worked, you don't know what worked, and you don't know what didn't work, and one more prelims you'll fail. Again, come one more prelims, and this cycle keeps on repeating. So to break that cycle, you should be having your own method. So evolve your own strategy. This I got after, okay, at least failing in pre after for at least 3 to 4 times. And finally, the general rules that I had, or some reflections I had in the last week, was that, you see, every time I wanted to do each subject to its perfection. So when I wanted to do it with perfection, I used to take a lot of time for single chapters like fundamental rights. I used to spend a lot of time. But you see, once you have given a certain number of attempts, at least 2 attempts, you already have a fair view of many things. So what is important is not going into depth, but for basic books, finish it once, because it contributes a lot to your confidence. So finishing is more important than trying to do things perfectly or just sticking to few chapters. So have a deadline, for example, at most 7 days for Lakshmikant. If you're 2 months before pre or 3 months before pre, you should spare at most 3 days and you should wrap it up. And it is easily, in my opinion, I've done it as well. In 2 months, you can thoroughly revise all your basic books. 2 months is a very good time. All your basic books. So in 2 months, in first 2 months, you can do this, and in the last 2 months, of course, you can keep on revising your um, current affairs. You can keep on fine tuning your PYQ technique, etc. So first important thing is have a deadline, and at least 3 to 4 months before pre you should be done with your basic books thoroughly. One. Number two, all through the year, I identify areas that are very tricky, And these are the areas, if you do not do now, you will not be able to do in the last week, and they will disturb you, or they will derail your stability greatly. Few such areas are, take defense. In defense, you have certain things like, you see, Malabar military exercises. Malabar exercise. What is Malabar exercise? So those things, GI wala, and in paintings. So those things related to art and culture like paintings, theater, puppetry. If you do not do them early, in the last 1 month they are going to shake you very badly. Ramsar sites, and you have national parks, tiger reserves, UNESCO World Heritage Sites. All these things have a list. There are, I think, some 15 such things. And these hardly need 1 day each at max. In my opinion, each of them, for example, you can master all wetlands in less than 30 minutes. But okay, give 1 day for this theme. So 1 day you'll spare 1 hour or 30 minutes and finish up wetlands. 1 day you will do the World Heritage Sites. 1 day you will do the armed exercises. 1 day you will do the GI. 1 day you will do. So in this way, have a list of themes and finish them much early, so that won't add to your tensions in the last minute. Next, identify the important themes in the current affairs and do them well. Like I said, for Ramsar Convention, or for example, if some things are very prominent, go to the website and search it by yourself. If there are, take Atmanirbhar Bharat, it has been in use for quite a while. So go to the PIB and search for it. Make your own notes. For few things, do it well, because they are going to repeat. They are going to reflect, and you'll be a very good benefactor of that. Next, and as you come to the end, I think I would definitely suggest you take a daily test of at least 50 bits, because I think I'll tell you how uniquely it helps you. There will be days of ups and downs, highs and lows. So irrespective of how you did the entire day with other subjects, if you do at least 50 bits, the 50 bits will not take you more than 1 hour. So if you do 50 bits as the first thing in the day, you'll have a sense of accomplishment. And as you near the exam, what is more important is this sense of accomplishment and this confidence. So do everything that won't hurt you in the last 1 week or the last 10 days. So when you plan by having those in mind. And last few things, have a healthy friend circle, people who are cool, okay, who have cleared the exam. Even if they haven't cleared, they should be cool. They should not be adding to your stress. And have good chai points, have periodic teas. They will also help you. They help me a lot. And as I said, evolve your own strategy. Do the PYQs, evolve your strategy, and start early. And only when you start early, you can ace the prelims, and not just acing the prelims, you ace it like an officer. So these are the few things I wanted to communicate to you. So first, take care of stress. So I'll try to summarize. Phase 3 and phase 2 are most important things, and to do well in phase 3 and phase 2, there are certain must do's like CA and test series. 1. Number 2, pre is not a 4 to 6 month game, but pre is a 1 year game, because certain things of pre you are going to do all the year. And pre is a combo of sprint and marathon. You will be able to sprint only when you do marathon all the year. Make it a point. Some people would think that no, I'm going to work day and night in the last 40 years. But bro, if you don't do the marathon and tick off certain things in this phase, you'll be going to hell in the sprint phase. Mark my words. Okay. And most importantly, evolve your own strategy. And when you do this, you will understand that most of the topper talks are proper bullshit. Okay. And you'll be discovering many things. That is the joy of preparation. You get the joy when you discover many new things for yourself. So to keep the preparation very enjoyable, this is the most important part. Work on the prelims by yourself. You can take advice from here and there, but you should be having your own method, and this is the way you evolve your own strategy. Okay, so these are the things, some unfiltered opinions I wanted to tell. See if it helps. Okay, chalo.